Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examinations. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Thumala, and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the in depth analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you because I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the newspaper, wherein we will identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be useful for prelims as well as mains examinations. And while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your short notes for mains examinations, your answers for mains would be precise and concise, and you would certainly score higher marks in the mains examinations. So therefore, this session at AKS IAS Academy will help you to score higher marks for mains 2020, as well as it will help you for prelims and mains 2021. And this session is the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, that is today's, that is of 19th December 2020. And before we get into the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, we will look at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that success occurs when your dreams get bigger than your excuses. So definitely whenever we have a kind of hurdles or excuses, make sure that the dreams are bigger than your hurdles and excuses so that you can attain success. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper, and the news which we would be looking at is that the Supreme Court has put a stay on the Andhra Pradesh High Court order. So we will look at this, saying what the Supreme Court has said in regards to the Andhra Pradesh High Court order. It said that the government of the Andhra Pradesh or the High Court of the Andhra Pradesh, which has come up with the order, is very disturbing. So we will look at why the Supreme Court has looked at the Andhra Pradesh High Court order as disturbing, and in turn the Supreme Court has stayed on the AP High Court order, and this order, which was intending to embark, that means to impose a judicial inquiry into that whether there is a constitutional breakdown in the state, that is in Andhra Pradesh, which is under the Jagan Mohan Reddy, and whether it requires that a declaration of president's rule. So the order of the High Court, that is Andhra Pradesh High Court, was intending to impose a judicial inquiry whether there is a need or there is a constitutional breakdown, and for this, because of the constitutional breakdown in the state machinery, so they were requiring or they were wanting a declaration of the president's rule, to impose a president rule because of the constitutional breakdown. Please do understand, this is the key word, that is the constitutional breakdown in the state. That was the High Court order of Andhra Pradesh. But the Supreme Court has put a stay on the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and this order of the Andhra Pradesh High Court, which is an unprecedented order, which has come up on October 1st. It has come up, or the High Court has come up with the order on October 1st, because while the High Court was deciding on the petition which was filed in regards to the habeas corpus, and this petition, that is the habeas corpus, was filed by the relatives of persons who were in the judicial custody or who have come out of the bail. On that was the order which was by the Andhra Pradesh High Court on October 1st, but certainly a petition again the Andhra Pradesh High Court has approached the Supreme Court, and in turn the Supreme Court has stayed the Andhra Pradesh High Court order, which it has come up on October 1st, stating that whether there is a constitutional breakdown in Andhra Pradesh. And this petition, again, it was filed by the government. And when the petition by the Andhra Pradesh government was filed in the Supreme Court to challenge the Andhra Pradesh High Court order whether there is a constitutional breakdown. So in regards to that, or challenging the Andhra Pradesh High Court, the Andhra Pradesh government has filed a petition in the Supreme Court, and it has said that whether there is a failure of constitutional machinery, whether if at all there is a failure of constitutional machinery in the state, that will be dealt as per the Article 356. So the constitutional machinery in the state, if there is a failure, it will be dealt as per the Article 356, which is enshrined in the Indian Constitution. And this power of imposing the constitutional machinery, that is the failure of the constitutional machinery, and imposing the president rule, this power of imposing the president rule vests exclusively in the executive, or the executive would decide whether there is a failure of the constitutional machinery to impose the president rule, and it is not the job of the judiciary. That is what the petition is as filed. That is, the petitioner here is the Andhra Pradesh government itself has filed in the Supreme Court, stating that the power to impose the Article 356 or the president rule, whether there is a failure of the constitutional machinery, lies or it is exclusively is vests with the executive. And sending a report, that is the judiciary sending a report to the honorable president or to the honorable governor to find out whether there is a constitutional failure or constitutional machinery failure, cannot be exercised by the judiciary. So the Andhra Pradesh government, which has filed the petition in the Supreme Court, has challenged that this report which has been sent by the judiciary to the president or the governor cannot be exercised by the judiciary. And the government, that is the Andhra Pradesh government, has said that the AP High Court has violated the basic structure or the basic structure doctrine of the constitution by sending a report to the president or governor to find out whether there is a failure of the constitutional machinery. So this is the information which is for the polity perspective, which you need to focus both for prelims as well as mains examination, because you have a keyword called as constitutional breakdown and the president rule, and you have the petition which was filed, that is habeas corpus. This is writ petition. Writs, one of the 5 writ petitions you have is the habeas corpus. So for the prelims point of view, habeas corpus, constitutional breakdown, president rule, and the Article 356 and the Article 356, and the key phrase is basic structure doctrine of the constitution has been violated, which the government, AP government, has observed in regards to the AP High Court order which was passed on October 1st. So this is the crucial information which the Supreme Court has stayed the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and this will be looked at a later stage after the vacation is over, that is the Supreme Court vacation is done. And there is another news which is that the Union government and the UPSC have approached the Supreme Court to give another chance to the IAS aspirants. So we will look at who are the aspirants, wherein the government and the UPSC is wanting another chance to the IAS aspirants. So here the Union government and the UPSC has told the Supreme Court that there were discussions going on that there can be granting another chance to the UPSC or IAS aspirants, especially those who had a last attempt which they were unable to clear the prelims examinations, and who had the last attempt which they have actually appeared the prelims exam in the month of October. And this center and the UPSC are certainly getting into the mode of discussion and trying to take the decisions for the proposal to give one more opportunity to the one who had the last attempt or who had the last attempt in the month of October 2020 in regards to taking up the preliminary examinations and who could not clear the prelims. And the reasons made by the center and the UPSC is that the students are affected due to the pandemic situation, and because of the pandemic situation the students were affected, their preparation was affected. So thereby the union government and the UPSC is certainly taking a decision to send a proposal to give one more opportunity to the affected students who had a last attempt in October 2020 and who could not clear the prelims examination. And the court is now hearing the petition which is filed by 59 aspirants, and the petition, the hearing is being done, which is represented by the senior advocate, that is Mukul Rohitgi, and an advocate Anushri. So the court is looking at the petition wherein which the center and the UPSC together are wanting to give or proposals to give one more chance for the last attempting persons or who had the last chance to attempt the UPSC exam. And this, because of the pandemic situation and because of the various lockdowns we have seen, the center and the UPSC are saying that because of the pandemic and the lockdowns, the students were unable to take the preliminary exams, few of them, and many of them have been handicapped in their preparations, and also the others could not really attend the exam, also preliminary examination. So thereby there is a chance that there would be another exam, another term or chance for the one who had missed the examinations. And this, that is the Department of Personnel and Training, has informed on behalf of the government or informed the court on behalf of the government to consider the last chance candidate another shot at the exam because of the pandemic and because of the ensuing lockdowns. So here the keyword is the Department of Personnel and Training. So this is an information wherein the union government and the UPSC has approached or sent a proposal to provide one more opportunity, and the decision will be taken in another 3 to 4 weeks. And another round of talks of LAC, that is line of actual control talks, would be taken up, or it was agreed to go ahead with or hold another round of talks along the LAC in the eastern Ladakh between India and China, and both the countries have agreed to hold a round of talks, and that talks would be between senior military commanders. So here the talks would be between India and China amongst the senior military commanders, and these talks would be taken up so that the process of disengagement, this is a key word, the process of disengagement wherein both India and China were trying to make sure that it would be in a positive note, which has really been a deadlock along the LAC in the eastern Ladakh. So there is a scenario wherein both the countries have agreed to go ahead with another round of talks between the senior military commanders for making sure that the process of disengagement is in the right path. And they have agreed at the 20th meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs. So here the keyword is that the process of disengagement, for the process of disengagement, the talks would be taken up at the senior military commander level talks, and this was discussed or agreed. The talks were to be taken up were agreed at a meeting called as Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination. So this is the key phrase. You have a mechanism in place that is called as consultation and coordination working mechanism, and this mechanism is for India China border affairs. And this WMCC, that is working mechanism for consultation and coordination, is actually convened twice a year. That is, every 2 years the WMCC would convene a meeting between both the countries, India and China, in regards to the India-China border affairs. And this has been launched in the year 2012, and since June, that is June 2020, both the countries have met 6 times because of the unprecedented crisis which we have seen in the eastern Ladakh, which has erupted in the early March between India and China. So here the key phrases are working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India-China border affairs. The talks are between the senior military commanders for the process of disengagement. And both of them have agreed to hold the 9th round of Corps Commander level talks. So, initially now they have agreed for the talks between senior military commanders. Please do understand, now they have gone ahead with holding a round of talks between senior military commanders between India and China. And later on after this, they have also agreed to hold the 9th round of Corps Commander level talks, which can, both the sides can work for early and complete disengagement. So what India is wanting is disengagement of troops along the LAC. Is that what India is wanting? And therefore the Corps Commander level talks, which would be at the 9th round to be agreed between both the countries, would work towards an early and complete disengagement. And this will definitely make sure that it will be as per the existing bilateral agreements and protocols. And by the Corps Commander level talks, both the countries are expecting that there would be fully restored of peace and tranquility along the India-China border, that is in the line of actual control in the eastern Ladakh. And we know that tensions have remained in the south of Pangong Lake, and there were also shots which were fired between both India and China. That is, the soldiers between India and China have fired, and this firing or warning is the first time since 1975. And not only in the south of Pangong Lake, in the north of Pangong Lake also, Chinese troops have moved up to finger 4. So you have finger 1 to finger 4, or finger 1 to finger 8 totally. And from finger till finger 4, the Chinese troops have actually come and they are preventing Indians to reach or patrol up to finger 8. And this is a cause of concern in the Pangong Lake, which is at the south and the north of Pangong Lake. So definitely by the military or senior military commanders level talks, which is decided or agreed to take place at the working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India-China border affairs, and in the future the 9th round of Corps Commander level talks will restore peace and tranquility, and also have the tensions which will be or which are in the Pangong Lake will also be resolved. And the first phase of disengagement we have seen between both the countries or along the LAC have taken up, and both the sides troops have moved back in the Galwan Valley and in the Gogra Hot Spring areas. But the issue that is still in the north and the south of Pangong Lake is still existing, and there are tensions prevailing along the north bank and south bank of Pangong Lake. But if you look at the first phase of disengagement of troops has taken place in the Galwan Valley and in the Gogra hot spring areas. And now we are wanting that the other conflict areas along the LAC apart from Galwan Valley and Gogra hot spring areas can be resolved at the earliest through the senior military level talks and the corps commander level talks, and the situation at the Pyongyang remains unresolved. And for this, to make sure that there is a disengagement of troops and the situation is resolved in the Pyongyang So Lake and in the Depsang Plains also, both are trying to reach out for a solution. That is, India and China are definitely trying out to reach out a solution along the LAC in the eastern Ladakh. And if you look at this, this is a Galwan Nala junction and this is a hot spring areas wherein the first phase of disengagement of troops have taken up at this place and at the Galwan Valley. Apart from that, here in this Pyongyang So Lake, still the issue is pending. Tensions are prevailing along the north bank and south bank of Pyongyang So Lake. And apart from this, I would wish to give another information through the map based, which there could be a possibility that the question can be asked even in regards to the geography map based questions. That means you have a road from Darbuk, from here Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi. So Darbuk, you have Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldi road. This is the road which is being constructed, which is constructed by the Indian Border Organization, and this is the latest infrastructure which India has constructed a road, and this is the one, the bone of contention wherein China is unable to digest it. So you have a road called as DSDBO, Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldi road, which is of 255 kilometers, and this is very close to this Darbuk Shok. This is a river. So Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg, here it is, and this is very close to the Karakoram Pass, and Daulat Beg Oldi is the highest air base of Indian Army, highest air base and Indian Army, which is very close to Karakoram Pass, and it is very close to even Siachen Glacier, and this Siachen Glacier is the highest battlefield in the world, highest battlefield in the world. So you have here, along with that, we can see the Gilgit and Baltistan, which is part of the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, wherein India still makes a point saying that Gilgit and Baltistan is part of India, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. And if you have, this is a highway, this is NJ9842, and this part is the Aksai Chin region wherein China has occupied it, but still India says that it is part of or integral part of India. And if you look at this part, that is the Shaksgam Valley, which this territory was ceded by Pakistan to China in the year 1963. And the Depsang Plain, this is the one Depsang Plain which is strategically very important, very important. That is why we wanted the unresolved areas or the situation in the Pangong Lake and also in the Depsang Plains to be resolved, and the disengagement of the troops should be taken up. That is what we wanted, because Depsang Plain, which is north of Galwan Valley, is strategically very important or geostrategically very important for India as well as China, because it is the plain, wherein both India and China can induct or can deploy all the arms and ammunition and the required machinery or artillery onto the ground, so that it can try to, if China goes ahead with having or inducting the artillery and the arms and ammunition in the Depsang Plains, so it can have an impact or it can directly attack India in the Ladakh region, or it can also have the control on the Karakoram Pass, and certainly it can also have impact or the control on the Siachen Glacier, which is the highest battlefield in the world. That is why Depsang Plains is strategically very important, geostrategically very important for India and China. So with the map based, I have made you understand the importance of the entire LAC between India and China in the eastern Ladakh. So you have the PP14 also, which is the conflict zone along the LAC, which both the countries would wish to resolve between the LAC so that there would be peace restored back. And there is another news which talks about the researchers have found out that indomethacin is beneficial in COVID-19 care, and this was taken up by the scientists, or there was a research and there was a preprint published recently in Magazine, and it says that the publishing says that the case of using or usage of indomethacin, which is a drug, and this drug is conventionally used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. So this rheumatoid arthritis is definitely one which is trying to be used. The researchers feel that this can be, indomethacin can be beneficial in using for COVID-19 care, and in turn this indomethacin, which is actually used for rheumatoid arthritis, is faster symptomatic relief. It gives relief faster and it can prevent progression of pneumonia, especially in the COVID-19 patients. So therefore the researchers find that the drug, that is indomethacin, can be used for the COVID care because it prevents the progression of pneumonia. This is the keyword. Indomethacin, as per the researchers, it prevents the progression of pneumonia in the COVID-19 patients. But conventionally, indomethacin drug is used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, and this drug was used or tested on the COVID-19 positive cases or the patients at two centers, that is in Andhra Pradesh and in Maharashtra, that is at Narayana Medical College, Nellore, and Datta Megha Institute of Medical Sciences, Maharashtra. And the authors of the research and who have published have said that the indomethacin to replace paracetamol. So indomethacin, as per the research, the authors say that it can replace the paracetamol if at all there is no contraindication of its use. So definitely the authors are saying that it can be, indomethacin can replace the paracetamol, which is now used for the COVID care patients. And this study taken up by the author, or the researchers, has been done onto the two groups, that is one group who are having a mild and moderate patients or COVID-19 patients, and the other group which was used was on the severe patients. And this was used as per the technique, and this is the keyword. So the technique used is here propensity score match technique. The authors which have used or which have gone ahead with the study is the technique used by the authors is called as propensity score match technique. So this is a technique which has been used in the study by the researchers on two groups, that is on mild and moderate and severe patients. And on the mild and moderate, they have used the technique to compare whether indomethacin and paracetamol based treatments, they have tried to compare the treatments when indomethacin and paracetamol are being administered or given to the COVID-19 care patients. And in the second group, that is severe patients, they were treated with indomethacin in addition with the another drug, that is remdesivir. So on the mild and moderate, they have used indomethacin, but on the severe patients, they are treated using indomethacin along with the remdesivir. So this is the study which has been taken up by the researchers on two groups, that is mild and moderate and the severe patients. And the authors also have said that those who have been treated by indomethacin had a reduction in the number of days. That means the number of days wherein fever free has become less, and the reduction in even in regards to the cough and muscle pain has comparatively become half in regards to the number of days when it is been the patients are being cured or when the patients are administered by paracetamol. So definitely there is a positive trend by using or treating the patients with indomethacin. The fever, definitely they are become fever free and reduction in cough and muscle pain. So this is the study which has been conducted by the researchers, that the indomethacin can be used instead of paracetamol, and this indomethacin is conventionally used for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. And the another news which talks about is there is a call for migrant workers database. So this is the keyword. So definitely the parliamentary panel or the parliamentary standing committee on home affairs has called for the database in regards to the migrant workers. And definitely the standing committee on home affairs have come up with a report saying that the national database of migrant workers should be collated, should be collected, and this has to be done at the earliest, because you never know that this is not the last that COVID-19 what India, the world is experiencing, but there could be a COVID-19 or repeat of COVID-19 like pandemic in the future, and that is why the Standing Committee on Home Affairs makes it very clear that there has to be a data which has to be collated, and that has to be a national database of migrant workers. So this is the key phrase. So we are wanting, the committee wants national database. This is the one, national database of migrant workers, because this can help for the relief measures which wherein the actual intended beneficiaries should reach the measure or should reach the kind of possibilities wherein they can have or they can move out of the poverty. And the committee is headed by the senior Congress leader, that is Anand Sharma, and he has adopted unanimously the report, and the report of this is management of COVID-19 pandemic and related issues. So the committee, that is the Standing Committee on Home Affairs, have unanimously adopted the report on management of COVID-19 pandemic and related issues, and they wanted on a urgent base or at the earliest there should be a national database of migrant workers which can be used as the relief measures for the intended beneficiaries in the future or any kind of repeat of COVID-19 pandemic situation. And the committee also noted that during the extended lockdown, there was a task of identifying the location and dispersing relief measures to the migrant workers. And because of lack of the database of the migrant workers, the central government did not or could not get into the mode of disbursing the relief measures and identifying the location of the migrant workers. So definitely the national database is the need of the hour. The committee, the Standing Committee on Home Affairs, is certainly emphasizing that the data of the migrant workers is the need of the hour, and the database, as per the committees, says that it should have details of the source state of the migrant workers, destination state of the migrant workers, and also the skill sets of the migrant worker, and various other contact details should be part of the database, and it should be the national database for the migrant workers, which can add or which can make sure that the government or the central government can identify the location of the migrant workers, and they can disperse the relief measures to the migrant workers with a very fast mechanism, so that there will not be any kind of delay to the response for the migrant workers relief measures. And the committee also says that the Disaster Management Act 2005 and the Epidemic Disease Act 1897, these two laws which were guiding during the pandemic are insufficient. They are insufficient because you do not have the entire database of the migrant workers. So therefore it is, or it was insufficient. These two, that is the Disaster Management Act 2005 and Epidemic Disease Act 1897. So these two acts are the keywords which can be used for the mains short notes. And the committee has also observed that the provisions which are existing in the Epidemic Disease Act 1897 was formed during the colonial era, and this was framed during the colonial era, and this was framed even before the Spanish flu, which has hit in the year 1918, and the Epidemic Disease Act is 1897. So therefore this has become absolute, and it is an colonial era, and definitely it is insufficient, or it was insufficient during the COVID-19 pandemic situation in 2020, and also during the lockdown situation, to disburse the relief measures to the migrant workers who were badly hit during the national lockdown. And the committee has also recommended urgent review of the 123-year-old Epidemic Disease Act 1897, which is now an absolute one, and which has to be made sure that there has to be a review for the Epidemic Disease Act of 1897. So this is again crucial for the migrant workers for the mains examinations. So the importance of the national database of the migrant workers is necessary for the COVID-19 like pandemic situations in the future. Discuss. So there could be a question, probable question for the mains 2020 based on the migrant workers, because the migrant workers, the kind of scenario they have faced during, or the migrant workers were the badly hit during the COVID-19 and the national or the various lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And now we will recapitulate the DNA, what we have discussed in the daily news analysis. So this is as per the polity. We are focused that how the Supreme Court has stayed the Andhra Pradesh High Court order, and this is, we have looked at Article 356 and then presidential order in regards to the failure of constitutional machinery in AP, what the judiciary was actually trying to pinpoint, and then sending a report to the president and or to the governor to impose the president rule because of the failure of constitutional machinery in Andhra Pradesh. And the another one is in regards to the IAS aspirants, wherein the UPSC and the state government have approached the Supreme Court that they would wish to extend one more year for the last chance IAS aspirant. So here we have looked at Department of Personnel and Training. This is a keyword here, and this is in regards to the disengagement process. Disengagement process of troops along the LAC, and here we have looked at the working mechanism for coordination and the coordination between both the India-China border affairs. This is a keyword here. and usage of indomethacin, which could be beneficial for COVID-19 care. This is again in regards to the health perspective for the prelims. We have analyzed this news, and parliamentary panel, that is the standing committee on home affairs, has wanted, or it has given an urgent call, need of the hour for the national database for migrant workers, so that in the future any kind of COVID-19 like pandemic situation, by the national database of migrant workers, the identifying the location and dispersing of the relief measures to the migrant workers can be taken up at a very faster pace. So this is again important for mains perspective in regards to the migrant workers. The keyword is migrant workers. So I hope this session was informative, knowledgeable one, and which could be very useful for from macro and micro level, that is mains and prelims perspective. So I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck to you all, and do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video and subscribe the AKS IAS English Medium channel, and also visit the website and subscribe to Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And then see you again on Monday for the daily news analysis. And then I would say a very big thank you to all. Thank you very much, and then do utilize your time judiciously. Thank you very much.